Evening everybody, and welcome to Apex Racing TV. It's the iRacing MSA British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship from the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. Andrew Woodhouse with you as usual, alongside Alex Simpson and Adam Bath. And Adam, Spa is upon us. That means also the Belgian Grand Prix, and means that the summer is starting to end, but the racing is only just beginning here tonight.
Yeah, we've got the Formula 1 coming up this weekend, but that just pales into insignificance with the arrival of the BSRTC, really. 4 races around the 7-kilometre circuit. It's probably one of the best racetracks we go to all year in terms of racing, and a brilliant spectacle as well. Watch out for the first corner. We're going to be having cars about 6 or 7 wide going into the braking zone at La Source, so yeah, looking forward to this one.
Alex, the spectacle is exactly right, as Adam was saying, and seeing 50 cars on the run towards La Source and Up Eau Rouge, but it's going to be mental, isn't it?
Yeah,
I don't think there's any other word.
It's going to be great. I'm not sure who shared that video that's been doing the rounds for the last couple of years, but that 60 cars running down through and up towards Eau Rouge. It's quite a shot, and you don't really see that in any other league. I think, I don't really think this is the only league that can pull that sort of quantity of drivers in. I mean, to me, the only one that comes close is like the Neo series, and that's obviously 3 classes and all sorts of stuff going on that one to get the numbers up there and driving popular cars. Fantastic.
Which is not what you'd call the Kia, really.
No, exactly. So yeah, we see it week in. Great racing in this. This is going to be an interesting one. Lots of opportunity for slipstream and overtaking, and Kia just is one of the best cars for going side by side and being able to take sort of slightly wider lines and things like that, and carrying the extra speed and momentum through. So places like Lecombe and the Fagnes through there, and coming out Paul Frere into the bus stop, and I think we're going to see a lot of great battling through there.
I think you're right, and qualifying about to end, and wow, look at the time of David Baker, Adam. That is fantastic.
2:27, yeah, it is one of the longest laps we go to this year, and it is Dave and Dan at the top, at the front of the grid. Dan Hunt's coming in for Pro Sim midway through the season, and now he's starting to make his mark, front row of the grid. And once again, some other big names in the top 10 really showcasing themselves. We've got Nicole Foggy up in 4th again, Northern Lights Racing. I think we're starting to see why he made that switch from the, was forced to make that switch from the AM to the Pro. Diogo Melro last week at the Nürburgring qualified inside the top 10, but it all went horribly wrong for him and his teammate Ash Sutton. Josh Thompson also up inside the top 10 after getting a handful of wins in the Formula Renaults at a Circuit of the Americas on a Tuesday night.
3 things strike me about the top 10 in qualifying, Alex. David Baker with over half a second advantage over everybody else. Nicole Foggy and Alex Smolensky posting the exact same qualifying time. And then also Josh Thompson and Colin Cunniff, who were outside the top 20 in practice, inside the top 10 here.
Yeah, I mean, Hunt, Foggy and Smolensky within a couple of thousandths of a second, so ridiculously close there. But yeah, I agree, and what strikes me is the amount of people who are carrying over penalties from the last round. It did fall apart, didn't it? In race 1 was a bit hectic, and then the end of the meet was a bit crazy as well. So, I mean, half of the grid has not set a time in qualifying because of all the penalties. So that's a bit nuts.
Nuts indeed, and what it will mean is, Adam, for the likes of Michael Blake, Dave Christie, Cesare Rizzo, 25th, 26th and 27th places, they're kind of the meat in the sandwich, really. They've got some faster drivers coming through from the back, and they're going to have to watch out a little bit, aren't they?
Yeah, I think those guys, the guys that haven't set times in qualifying because of the penalties, will be hoping that the drivers in front fall like chestnuts off a tree, you could say, in this opening race. So, they'll be hoping for good things because they know they've definitely got the pace to get there, and they'll be looking out for the reverse grid too as well. Running through the grid as we get ready to go for the for the first race of the day. Dave Baker on the pole, we've been saying that, over half a second ahead of Dan Hunt in second. Then it's 0.02 of a second back to Nicole Foggy in third, and we couldn't separate him and Smolenski, I should say, who starts in fourth. Fifth is Diogo Melrose, sixth is Stelin Chapelewski, then Josh Thompson in seventh, eighth Colin Cunniff, ninth, a few hundredths back, is Nathan Davis, and 10th for Pete Harrod. Jake Blackhall in 11th, Mark Woodhouse continuing to improve, up in 12th, and a man who commentated on him for a few seasons in the Club Series, Paul Smith, starts in 13th. 14th is Richard Gore, Miguel Freitas in 15th, 16th is Thorstein Helgeson. With Laura Bond nearly got her first win at the Nürburgring last week, but she'll try again here at Spa. She starts in 17th, Stephen Baxter 18th, 19th Laura Murray, and 20th for Rusty Laidler. John Roberts starting in 21st, 22nd Tristan Bodis, 23rd for Stuart Atkinson, 24th for Scott Malcolm, 25th for Cesario Rizzo, 26th Michael Blake, 27th Dave Christie, and then the cars didn't set a time. The field here they are sorted based on their iRacing, so no surprises that Jamie Fluke starts in 28th place. Racing World Championship driver, of course. Wojciech Savinovich 29th, then Sven Glatzel 30th, Ben Hackerson in 31st, Dan Kraft 32nd, so two of the championship contenders already named. 33rd, Pete Newman, 34th, Ross McFarlane, then it's George Simmons in 35th, Roy Verke 36th, Ash Sutton, fastest in practice, 37th in qualifying, 38th, Stuart McFadden, 39th, Michael Hall, and 40th for Kip Stevens, Jamie Ayres 41st, 42nd Rob Graham, 43rd Farham Hadfield, Martin Front in 44th, and then 45th is Craig Evans with Matt Keeber bringing up the 46 car grid. Whereabouts is he starting on the track? He is just on the entry into the bus stop chicane.
Yeah, a long way to go for Keeber and some of the rest of them. And Alex, look at Paul Smith and Richard Gore, 13th and 14th. Nothing separating them. Nothing changes, it seems.
No, not at all. That'll be a good little battle for them, I'm sure.
I'm sure that'll run and run. Dave Baker, of course, it's important, Alex, that he gets a really, really good start because, and indeed the whole first sector for him, because you can be vulnerable starting from pole here.
Yeah, you can. I think it's almost actually a hindrance, isn't it? Second place, I think, is usually the best place on the grid. If you can nail the start, tuck straight in behind the leader, you definitely have the advantage going into Lacombe. So he'll be hoping that they squabble a little bit behind and that he can nail that first corner and maybe break a half second away and lead going into Lacombe, which is usually where it all falls apart. What's the track conditions like out there, guys? We've seen some monstrous crashes going through Eau Rouge in the past in this series.
It's pretty cold
out there. Be slipping and sliding. Well, yep. You see, that could we could be in for a big one as well.
Here we go then. We're hoping for no slip-ups here.
Green, green, green.
Green light is on for round 80. Good start by Baker. Poor start from Daniel Hunt. He did not get away well at all. Into Lacombe, there's a crash at the back. I think it's Scott Malcolm.
There's a car stuck on the grid. Now, we had issues with that in the in one of the races in the weekend in the Club 73 Touring Car Championship. I wonder if that might have reared its ugly head here at Spa. But coming up Eau Rouge for the first time. Good start from Baker.
Yes, they didn't log those support tickets, Alex, but Baker is, he doesn't need support at all at the minute because he's made the perfect start. Yeah,
great start. Got himself a little bit of a gap, 0.3 of a second. He should be able to hold on to this one. It looks more like Smolenski attacking Foggy and Melrose there as well.
Baker decides to break in the middle of the circuit. Foggy trying to keep hold of the second place. Smolenski with a great start, started in fourth place. He's already challenging for second position. Diogo Melrose is inside the top 5 for the second week in a row in qualifying. That is very, very good improvement from the Portuguese driver. And Elian Chepelewski, see, pretty much ever present in the series, following along. Then Daniel Hugg, Pete Harrod, Colin Cunniff, Nathan Davis and Richard Gore. And Gore has made a good start, up from 14 to what is, I believe it's 10th position, 11th.
Yeah, 4 positions into 2 of the cars that were involved in that stallage at the start of the race was Josh Thompson. He was the one that can get moving away from the line, the Fanatec driver, and Dan Kraft, one of the championship contenders, stuck in the midfield after a ban from qualifying. So that problem for both of those guys as the leaders go into the Fania chicane.
Might not have been Scott Malcolm that had the problem. I think it was Dave Christie who crashed at the start. And they're also having problems out there. Looks like Cesare Rizzo coming under pressure from Tristan Bodis, the boosted motorsport car, and then Sven Glatzel, who's an expert at coming through the field. Well, he's already starting off his charge here.
Well, the tag team, isn't it? Glatzel and Ash Sutton, 21st and 22nd already as they go on their way into Blanchimont for the first time.
And Foggy went on the grass on the way into Blanchimont. He had to hit the brakes, Alex, and well, that's cost him a good half a second.
Yeah, and gives a bit of breathing room for Baker now.
Baker made a mistake.
Still there. So we're just looking at those guys coming through. Glatzel was having another a position there as well. So getting him up and past Tristan Bodis through Blanchimont.
Helgeson in the thick of it as well. It looks like he's battling with Rusty
Hunt
Laidler.
And Colin Cunniff, is it? Side by side down into turn 1?
Yep. And Hunt with a poor start. He only started in second place down to 6.
20 positions gained for Sven Glatzel inside one lap. He's 6th for Ash Sutton. They're both up to 10th and 11th. They're about 20th the last time I checked in on them, about half a lap ago. Quite remarkable.
How have they even done that? That's excellent stuff. Really, really good. I think they're further back than that. I don't think they are actually that high up.
My timing screen's playing tricks on me. I do apologise.
Glatzel 20th, Sutton 21st as they cross the line.
Collision!
Crash.
Further forward, sorry guys, that is I think Nathan Davis getting into Colin Cunniff.
Cunniff, yeah. Cunniff dropped down behind Smith, still side by side with Davies, and then you see 99, that's Miguel Freitas coming through, and dropping down the order is Cunniff. I think he's got possibly terminal damage there. Benching damage, I think, for Cunniff. Or a massive slowdown.
That might be the case because
did he get hit across the corner?
Might be the case because the car looks clean from what I can see anyway. As he's going into poo on, he's wheel to wheel with Ash Sutton and Sven Glatzel.
Glatzel almost leading the way for Sutton through the traffic. Ash won't be used to this actually. Of someone, he's usually the one that's fighting his way through from the back. Might as well just follow the German driver. Oh, he's hit. Sutton hits Cunniff. Cunniff down another 4 or 5 places. Baker's
It's just not going right. It's not going right. That's exactly what's happening to Cunniff right now. Foggy, very, very close to Baker up front, getting this run through towards Blanchimont. Maybe an opportunity for a move into the bus stop.
Baker running out wide onto the AstroTurf on the exit. Foggy, first chance of the day, doesn't want to do a Vettel on Button from a few years ago into the final chicane.
Trying to go around the outside, trying to stay on the inside for the second part of the bus stop. Good line from Baker. Manages to cut him off at the pass, and Alex Smolensky is now trying to make a pass and jinking one way or the other as Foggy has to defend the position. Smolensky late on the brakes. Can't really go around the outside at the source. The inside line just too grippy. And that's also a funny one, Alex, because even though it's a slightly downhill braking area, it always seems like it takes ages for the car to slow down.
Yeah, and the car seems to lock up very easy going in there as well. So front or rear, just be the nature of the corner. So very easy for drivers to make mistakes down there.
Paul Smith up to 8th, Adam. That's a fantastic start from him. Richard Gore up to 7th, so coming through the field together. And Miguel Freitas attacking Nathan Davies for his 9th position.
Yeah,
and it looks like a slowdown for Woodhouse.
Mark Woodhouse after that qualifying started 12th on the grid and have made a few positions, but now he's having to give a whole load of them back as they go into the Les Commoners contacts this teammate. Oh, and he collects Jamie Fluke on the way through. Cesare Rizzo, who started in 25th on the grid, had got as high as 18th. And now he's facing the wrong way and is seeing the whole field coming towards him.
You know what? I think it's a bit of netcode with Ash Sutton, Alex.
Sorry guys, I'm watching a great battle here between Davis and Freitas. They were side by side through the whole sort of second sector there. In the end, Miguel just wins out. There's a little bit of contact, both cars are sideways, and expertly recovered from both. But yeah, that was a fantastic battle as well.
Oh yeah,
running back at it again.
Going into the final chicane, Team Mad versus Apex here. And who's that behind? That is Stephen Baxter.
Baxter again.
To put his nose in either, is he? So
yeah.
Right then, through Stavilo, we're already halfway through the race. It's only a 6-lap race here today because it is one of the longer tracks. And look at the run of that Fanatec car, the AM car of Stephen Baxter gets on the exit. A lot of damage to the front end, but that doesn't seem to be slowing him down at all. And now Davis has got to turn his attention away from the Team Mad car onto the Fanatec car as we go into Blanchimont.
Oh! Davis sideways, and just what gathers it all up. Look at Pete Harrod coming through the middle. The race up with CQR car. Blackhall involved as well. Laura Bond making good progress as well. Close battle. Close at the front as well. Baker only a quarter of a second in front of Foggy. Alex is closer this time, Foggy.
Yeah, it's definitely close up between
you can take
those
it if you
two.
want.
No, I'll take it on. Exit of Blanchimont up the hill then. See what speed they can get to. We saw speeds of 155 miles an hour in the qualifying session. Now with the slipstream, what speeds can we get here? We're about to break the 250 mark, but looks like these three already scampering away up the road as Dan Hunt and Chepalewski go into battle. Looks like Dan Hunt's got through, and so is Diogo Melra.
Yeah, they were fanning out somewhat on the back straight. That's really slowed them up actually as they're all battling. Now 3 seconds behind the group at the front.
That is very quick in a straight line. I was looking at the speed differences. There was very marginal.
Who did you say, Dave?
Yeah. So yeah, CQR trimmed out somewhat, and yeah, Foggy just sort of almost using the draft to sort of stay with him, I think, more than anything. So closing up just a little bit. So maybe running a bit more downforce, so he's able to carry a bit more speed through the corners, and yeah, like I say, using that draft well to maintain the speed on the straight.
Baker was about half a second quicker in qualifying, and that's you get a bit more than that in draft, don't you? Really, around here.
Yeah, I'd hate to think what it is around here actually, because pretty much everywhere you've got some kind of draft going on, haven't you? So
maybe a second or more, as Alex Malensky struggling to hold on to the back of this group. He's just starting to go away from the two at the front. Malensky is just within the draft range, Adam, so he's not completely out of touch, and he still may be able to pick up the pieces if anything goes on between the CQR car and the Northern Lights racing car.
Yeah,
behind is quite slow. Sorry, Adam. Just,
okay.
Just something that I picked up on the pack behind quite slow. Dan Hunt in 4th place, 2 minutes 30 that time. So the other guys, like Richard Gore, Paul Smith, but that are actually closed back up to that pack as well. So yeah, Hunt seems to be struggling a little bit.
Malensky off at the final corner, and also off is Daniel Hunt. Pro Sim drivers obviously don't care about the white lines.
Yeah, they might do if they get a smash towards the end of the race that takes them over their incident limit. That's for sure.
We saw that in the Renault, didn't we?
Yeah.
The other night with Samuel Lebert.
It's a bit of a tough track when it comes to incidents as well, from memory. So gotta be careful.
Yeah, at least it definitely used to be. I don't know if it's got any better, has it?
No, it's still the same.
Another one. I'll tell you what, Nick Foggy. Right with David Baker now, and he's got to take a move for the lead here. Very late on the brakes into Lecumbe, but you cannot go around the outside very easily there. And Baker just simply does not make mistakes. He does not stray from his line. His braking points are absolute, and he absolutely stays in front of Foggy.
Yeah, move done around the outside there. You've really got to push alongside the driver in front like Baker. You've really got to make him take that inside line, and then you'll have the inside for the second part of the Les Combes chicane. And yeah, that's what Foggy will be trying to do, I think, on the final lap of the race, because he is running out of overtaking opportunities. But yeah, Foggy, the AM driver who started the season as an AM, became a pro, and he's definitely fighting in and amongst the pros here.
Looking at Sven Glatzel, resident charger through the field, up to 19th place. He's just behind Wojciech Svirovic, actually, who started in 29th, and he's moved forward quite somewhat.
Yeah, him and Sutton have been split up a bit now. Sutton's in 15th place, well, at least that's what it says on my timing screen. Another 2 positions gained on.
I think that's right, yeah.
Yeah, for Ash Sutton. And yeah, Wojciech Svirovic, who so it's Jamie Fluke he's battling with the number 20, the 150 car with a lot of damage to the front, with Svirovic in front.
all sorts of issues there they must have had between them. Vidovic's next target is Tristan Bodis in car number 106. I tell you who else has gained a lot of spots as well is Adam Hadfield. He's up from 43rd to 29th. Craig McLeod Evans has gained 10 spots as well.
Fanatec looking pretty useful out there, actually.
Yeah, Baxter is going well in 13th place.
See if Nickel Foggy can be useful as we're starting the final lap of the race now. Just 7 kilometres to go to decide the opening race of the day.
Jumped on board with Paul Smith, obviously up 5 places.
Look at that, he's tagged right onto the back of this group now.
Not anywhere you can go though, is there, at this sort of point? I mean, you've done more racing than I have, but just from the experience I have, once you're in a big draft train like that, it's very frustrating. You kind of just hoping these guys are going to make some mistakes somewhere so you can take advantage of it.
It can be tough. I mean, Bar's one of the better tracks for overtaking, but even then, yeah, you know, the car in front always has that added help for themselves with the slipstream, so just like a DRS train, mate, really. I mean, you're right, there's not a lot of place you can go, and ironically, the car punching the hole in the air is the one that's, shall we say, less aerodynamically sound of Daniel Hunt, Adam.
Dan Hunt's like the main leader of this peloton, the second group, bringing them all along, and the likes of Foggy, Baker and Smolensky, the breakaway pack at the front. Nathan Davis might have been our first disqualification. He's disappeared off the timing screen. So car 42, who was in that scrap earlier on with the likes of Howard and Baxter, looks like he won't be completing this first race.
Unfortunate for, well, it's very unfortunate for Davies. Although, yeah, and he won't get the benefit of the reverse grid either now that he's been DQ'd.
After the Lord Mayor show comes the dust cart, doesn't it, for Davis, as he won the final round at Nürburgring last week.
Davis,
and, gets a disqualification. First
well, and judging by the amount of incidents he's had, I think the car might be the dust cart.
Final lap, not very long to go then, guys.
Well, who's going to be riding home in the victory carriage as they go through?
Very good, yes.
Had drop in as well, final lap for him, disqualification.
Well,
because the commentator there.
Incident limit is in play, 11 incidents, remember, and you are out of here. I'll tell you what, David Baker versus Nickel Foggy, final lap through Blanchimont. Let's see if there's a move from Foggy. I think he's too far back.
David Baker,
Baker defending fresh air.
Won 4 races. This looks like it's going to be his
smart,
fifth.
but I think it's going to be okay. David Baker then, towards the line. Round 80 of the season goes to him.
It's going to be Dan Hunt that brings home that second group over the line. Now to Ash Sutton, he's right in the mix there. There's a Fanatec car going wide in the background of Baxter. He's just going to hold off Laura Bond. That's Baxter getting 13th place.
Laidler in there in 15th. Start from him. And he always says he's slow, didn't he? Top 15 for Rusty Laidler, and Helgeson hits Woodhouse after the bell, so to speak.
Isn't there a rule now as well coming in that, because obviously the race is still going, so those will count. But
that happens anyway, doesn't it?
If the race is still going on, it counts, doesn't it? But if the race is finished, it doesn't count. But I think there's a rule in place if you have a clean run, and it denies you your bonus points for a clean race. But it's protestable now, so drivers have got to watch out for that.
Yep.
Maybe
the system's still.
I think maybe there was talk about that. I don't know if that's come in, but I know there was talk about it. So it'd be good to get some clarification if that ruling actually come into play, because that makes sense. You know, that's a good rule to have in there. You know, you'd be livid, wouldn't you, if you had a perfect clean race and then someone just clonked you on the slowdown lap and you get a 4x. You know.
Matthew Keeber, last man over the line. Adam Ben Hackerson, we lost him on the last lap. I wonder if that was a disqualification or not.
I think he had a visit to the pits.
And he had to stay there.
I'll have a quick look back and see what might have resulted in that visit to the pits for you quickly.
But he'd
still be able
eligible
to get the reverse grid and points for that, though, when he just the 1 lap down if it's not a DQ.
Yeah, so
the car looked
important to point out, that Davies and Hadfield will not be eligible for the reverse grid. I'm going to spin the wheel in just a minute or so, but first of all, Adam, if you could do the honours for me.
Hey, let's run you through the results from the opening race of the day. Just looking quickly, Ben Hackerson, he looked like he'd been nursing that damage for some time. It must have been pitting to serve that meatball flag. That's probably what he was pitting to do. Dave Baker takes the win. Second, Nicole Foggy. Third, Alex Smolensky. The top three separated by less than a second. Fourth for Dan Hunt. Fifth for Diogo Melro. Sixth for Stelian Chapelevsky. Started sixth. Seventh, Richard Gore. Eighth for Paul Smith. Ninth for Miguel Freitas. And 10th for Jake Blackhall. Pete Harrod getting an 11th place finish. Ash Sutton, 37th to 12th. You can't stop him, can you? Even if you give him back of the grids and pit lane starts, he always finds his way forward. 13th, Stephen Baxter. 14th, Laura Bond. 15th for Rusty Laidler. Mark Woodhouse, despite that slowdown penalty he had to serve on the opening lap of the race, finished in 16th. Forstein Helgersen in 17th. Tristan Bodis in 18th, Sven Glatzel in 19th, and Wojciech Svidovic, a back of the grid for him in race 1. He managed to get a 20th place finish. 21st for Jamie Fluke, despite the damage that he picks up to the front of his car. 22nd for Lorne Murray. 23rd for Michael Blake. 24th for Ross McFarlane. 25th John Roberts. 26th Martin Front. He could be at the front if he gets a reverse grid in his favour. 27th Scott Malcolm. 28th for Kip Stevens. Jamie Ayres 29th and 30th for Rob Graham. Stuart Atkinson 31st. Roy Ververke 32nd. Colin Cunniff with a massive slowdown, what we think is a massive slowdown, got him 33rd in the end after starting in the top 10. Craig Evans in 34th. Cesare Rizzo got spun around at the Lacombe chicane, so finished in 35th. George Simmons 36th, Matt Keeber 37th, Nathan Davis disqualified, Adam Hadfield likewise picking up 11 incidents, so that was him done. Ben Hackerson pitted on the last lap, I think to serve his meatball flag. He waited to the very end just to make sure that he didn't get lapped, and finished in 40th, 1 lap down, and is the contender for the reverse grid if we get full. Pete Newman 2 laps down, Michael Hall 3 laps down, Stuart McFadden 5 laps down, and then Dan Kraft involved in the crash at the start. Dave Christie likewise, and Josh Thompson, the car that had stalled after starting 7th on the grid.
Incredible look for Josh Thompson after such a good qualifying, top 7. But Alex, not a bad first race. Only 9 retirements out of the 46 who started.
Yeah, and a lot of that was to do with the first lap with Josh's pedals failing. Apparently, that was the issue. So it wasn't to do with the grid bug. So hopefully that's not here at Spa. But yeah, pretty good race and some good battling out there. I kind of expected to see more changes position at the front, but I know Baker was so quick in quali, so Foggy's really just sort of using the draft to sort of help keep the gap, isn't he, and then attack every opportunity he gets. So I'm not surprised to see Baker leading from start to finish there, actually.
I think Dave Baker's weakness comes later, doesn't it? Reverse grid races. I think sometimes it's not a weakness as such, but he's not as strong coming through the pack.
He's a very fair driver, isn't he? He doesn't take quite so many chances, not as forceful as some of the others in sort of his car placement, but he still works his way through quickly, but not as quick as some of his teammates, for example. So, but the point is where you can say it's a bit of a weakness, it's also his strength as well, because that's the reason he's winning the championship and not those guys.
That's absolutely true, right, mate? It's up to you now to decide who's going to be on pole position.
The wheel.
Spin the wheel and figure out who that's going to be. If we have a full, like you say, it will be Ben Hackerson, and we'll have 38 cars reverse.
Okay, give it a spin, see what we get. Be a 4, might be 28. Where's it going to land? It's going to be pretty close between the two, but I think it's going to be 28. It is 28th place.
Kip Stevens is going to be on the pole then for the second race of the day. Pro Sim at the front in race 1. They're going to be at the front again for race 2. Scott Malcolm in second, Martin Front. Well, I said he could be at the front, and he practically is at the front for race 2. John Roberts in 4th. And Ross McFarlane making it another Northern Lights racing car in the top 5 for race 2.
I reckon Jamie Fluke and Wojciech Svidovic might fancy it as well, being and Sven Glatzel too, being starting 8th, 9th and 10th there. So that is a good opportunity for them to come through the field. Right, everybody, 3 more races to come here at Spa. and you will see them at the other side of this commercial break here on Apex Racing TV and iRacing Live.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but it can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
move. Truex in the outside, contact made. 56 slides it into 4. Who's going to be at the stripe? Dead even, give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
iRacing.com is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all over the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. iRacing's web-based interface allows members to compare stats and test drive any combination of car and track instantly. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 60,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsport organizations like SRO Motorsports Group to deliver virtual races based on the real-life Blancpain GT series. iRacing's Blancpain Endurance Series features team racing, giving members the ability to build a team and participate in races ranging from 3 hours to 24 hours. Additional partners include NASCAR, IMSA, V8 Supercars, IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own 24 hours of Spa, Bathurst 1000, Daytona 500, and many more. iRacing.com, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but it can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
Truex in the outside, contact made. 56 slides it into 4. Who's going to be at the stripe? Dead even, give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
iRacing.com is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all over the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. iRacing's web-based interface allows members to compare stats and test drive any combination of car and track instantly. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 60,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsport organizations like SRO Motorsports Group. to deliver virtual races based on the real-life Blancpain GT series. iRacing's Blancpain Endurance Series features team racing, giving members the ability to build a team and participate in races ranging from 3 hours to 24 hours. Additional partners include NASCAR, IMSA, V8 Supercars, IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own 24 hours of Spa, Bathurst 1000, Daytona 500, and many more. iRacing.com, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car.
Welcome back to Spa for race 2 of the evening in the British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. Andrew Woodhouse, Alex Simpson and Adam Bath with you. Adam, very quickly, mate, before, as we are heading down to the grid, what are you expecting from this second race? 28 cars reversed.
Well, if Kip Stevens is starting on the pole, then we're usually in for a bit of a cracker here. So, yeah, we should expect some fireworks, I think.
Well, indeed. Alex looks a bit grey out there, very cold. It will affect the drivers on the first lap.
Yep, certainly will. Again, we'll have to watch out for a rouge. Hopefully no one has issues getting off the line this time. Yeah, it's gonna be treacherous sort of first half a lap, and then everything should settle down. Definitely seems to be more cold races than sort of regular ones, doesn't there? But yeah, we're expecting a rainy race at this weekend for the Formula 1, so as close as we can get, I guess.
Looks like the Kip Stevens isn't going to turn up. Here we go. 1-0. No Kip Stevens. It's going to be Scott Malcolm then. Here we go.
Kip Stevens, like he's got a pit lane start for this one, but Scott Malcolm then is on pole position on the other side of the grid.
Green, green, green.
Green light is on. Scotsman makes a decent initial start. Martin Front gets away well as well, and does His Royal Highness John Roberts on the outside into La Source. And up the inside goes Martin Front, sliding his way into the lead. What a move!
Martin Front is at the front.
You've been waiting to say that for weeks. And behind him is Northern Lights Racing teammate Ross McFarlane from 5th on the grid. Now finds himself in 2nd position. Up Eau Rouge for the first time, and this could be treacherous.
Quite a start for both the Northern Lights Racing cars. But what's happened?
Someone massively out of control through Eau Rouge, one of the CQR cars. I think it was Melrose, but he's managed to hold on to it somehow going up there.
Wow, frantic start then. I think everyone's survived it, Adam, and well, Northern Lights Racing, they're laughing at the minute. Look at this, and Front has now ceded the lead to McFarlane, and that's the smart option, because McFarlane definitely the quicker of the two.
Yeah, great start by both of those guys, and a few of the drivers now just making their way out of the pit lane after their pit lane starts. So like some Kip Stevens and Ash Sutton all starting from the pit lane here as we go through the corner with no name. And Martin Front, he might be about to lose the lead to their Scottish rivals. Here comes the Automech car of Malcolm, who started on the pole. And Martin Front doing his best to allow Ross McFarlane to pull away at the front.
Oh, sideways for Michael Blake, the Alphalatech car, but he manages to survive. And yeah, 1-2 for Northern Lights Racing, and Martin Front's going to be very important, Alex, for Ross McFarlane, at least in the early going. How many laps can he keep the rest of them behind?
Yeah, huge, exactly that. He needs to try and keep them, you know, if he can get maybe 2 or 3 laps really holding this field up behind, then there's an opportunity for McFarlane to pick up the win here.
Oh, look at Roberts attacking Malcolm, Adam, but he has to get out of it through curve Paul Frere, because he's just got too good of a run almost to have a look.
Oh, Jamie Fuchs has to take advantage of that on John Roberts. He's going to try and go around the outside. He's going to try and dethrone that 4th place from John Roberts as he go around the outside of Blanchemont. Wojciech Svidovic is also there as well. No way through
Luke
there.
very smartly gets on the brakes.
Supposed to get a cutback as well. That was pretty smart.
Can't really go through there side by side, not properly anyway. And Roberts has to be very late on the brakes as well to try and stave off Jamie Fluke. Jamie Fluke, of course, former BSRTC champion in the Winter Series, season 10. And here is Scott Malcolm.
Oh! Luke darting about all over the place there on the front straight, trying to get to the inside, but Scott Malcolm has the better of it. And at the end of the first lap, Ross McFarlane has a 2.5 second lead back to Scott Malcolm in third.
Look at Wojciech Svidovic.
Had to be bug drafting his teammate down the straight towards Eau Rouge.
Yeah, Fluke filling in at Apex. Alex, you couldn't ask for a better substitute really than the iRacing World Championship driver.
Yeah, no, not at all. Cat's away, of course, this week.
And while the cat's away, Jamie Fluke comes out to play.
Someone's put Cats back in the bag.
Bit further back, Bodis, Baxter guys, these side by side as well. They've got Harrod right there with them too. Great little battle through Lagoon.
Using a CQR trying to get through the middle there of Harrod, but that's not advised. And the gap closes up pretty quickly as Bodis trying to get back up the inside into Rivard, the downhill hairpin right. And once again, Stephen Baxter, Vanatek right up there straight away in the top 10.
That puts Bodis offline through Liège, and here is going to try it. Is into Poo on Bodis.
Through is Fluke. The floodgates have opened, and both Apex cars have managed to get through into the third and fourth places.
Svidovic around the outside into Fanya's chicane, and that breaks the resistance of Scott Malcolm. He's got Rusty Laidler for company, and Rusty Laidler is clever driver, and we'll see what he can do to get through. Roberts, Blake, Baxter, Harrod. It's still most of the drivers, Alex, that started at the front are at the front.
Yeah, doing good. Alan, your stats should be quite interesting this race.
Yep, I definitely think so. And Ross McFarlane with the tartan mirrors. I don't know, will he be doing the Highland Fling at the end of the race?
As Martin Front riffs his way through Blanchemont. What could be crucial is that they gained another half a second, Ross McFarlane, on the rest of the pack before Fluke and Svidovic got through. And how crucial that half a second could be in the outcome of this race. We're about to start lap 3, so we're approaching half race distance here in the sixth lapper here. And the Apex cars are going to be on the prowl. Next up behind Scott Malcolm is Rusty Laidler. See how long it takes for the racer with CQI driver to get by him. As there's contact at the back, we see smoke. See Dan Hunt might have a few issues. Nathan Davis, please don't tell me he's just been disqualified again.
Looks like it.
Oh, that didn't last long at all.
Yeah, it looks like Davis is gone. Wow.
That lasted half the race.
McFarlane absolutely flying at the minute. And what's crucial for Northern Lights, Alex, is that they are gaining on Martin Front, but not at a massively quick rate. Still 2.7 seconds is the advantage.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Martin just needs to do exactly what he did at the start of this race, just try and hold these guys off. We're almost at that 3-lap mark that I said, might give him the kind of gap that he needs. But Martin actually has picked up the pace and has not been dropping off as quick from Ross as I expected him to do, to be honest. So,
Alex, you need to look at this battle for about 5th place. Laidler, Malcolm, Roberts, Blake, Baxter, Harrod, Bodis, and Murray.
And just in the background, Richard Gore as well, and it's kicking off just behind those guys as well. Nearly 3 wide. Number 99, Freitas. Oh, and it's Melrose as well, looking round the outside on the exit, everyone.
And Baker looks behind Melrose.
Oh, yeah. Jake Blackhall looking behind as they go into the Fanny chicane.
That was I'm screaming at Harrod and Baxter as well. Very, very close. Bodis takes advantage of that, who we're now on board with. Baxter around the outside as well. So no matter where you look in this race, there's close battles. I mean, this is a ridiculous pack, all the way from Rusty Laidler in 5th down to Mark Woodhouse in 23rd. There's less than sort of 3 or 4 tenths between each driver. It's ridiculous.
Jamie Fluke Malcolm Martin front. That's probably what you were looking at as well. Yeah.
Martin front. Well, the front was fine. It was the rear that he lost through Blanchimont. Fluke trying the outside line. Front's on the inside. He can't help his teammate this time. He goes wide. Savinovic through. Bang! Contact with the right rear of the Apex Racing car, but Fluke is off into second place. But there's only 2 laps to go. Sorry, 3 laps.
3 laps to go. I bet you. Yeah, Ross McFarlane would have been a lot happier if it was just the 2, but he's got to hold on for 21 Ks.
That sea of cars, Alex, from about 5th on down to about 30th, 40th place almost. And just all there in that one shot going into La Source was brilliant. Oh
Yeah,
my goodness.
It's absolutely mental as they all come screaming through.
Dusty Laidler was sideways through Eau Rouge. What kind of driver he is. And Pete Harrod is attacking Scott Malcolm.
Baxter also there as well. This is over 8th and 9th.
Harrod late on the brakes, flies up the inside into Lacombe. Malcolm maintains the outside line. He doesn't want Stephen Baxter to get alongside, but he has into Malmedy. Then Rivage coming next. Baxter has the inside line. Needs to brake quite late here to cover off the other car. He has. Nicely done. Oh, bit of a nudge. Nudgy, nudgy, nudgy. Stephen Baxter there. Up into... it's 9th, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. You can now chase after this 3-car squabble between 3 different teams. John Roberts driving for the boosted team, Michael Blake driving for the Alphalatech livery team, and the car behind that is Pete Harrod driving for the Racer with CQR team as they go through Pouhon.
Colourful squabble, at least. Boosted car at the front, the Alphalatech car in the middle, and CQR car at the back. Ross McFarlane leads by 1.5 seconds. 2 seconds, maybe?
1.7 between
somewhere
McFarlane
in the middle
and
then.
Fluke. Yeah.
Yep.
Last time around.
McFarlane's quick enough, though, isn't he, to
probably
stay there? It's going to be close, Alex, I reckon.
I think once they pick up the draft as well, they're going to suck up to him pretty quickly, aren't they? That's the problem that Ross is going to struggle. It's not just the pure pace. They're going to have the draft on their side. Last lap, including the overtake, they were 7 tenths of a second faster. So they're going to get there by the end of the race, but it might come down to the final lap when they're having to pull the moves off.
Harrod through, and it was a late move on the brakes. Going into the bus chicane, the car was all over the place.
Here's some contact on the chicane. But Lorne Murray defending hard from Stalin Chepelevsky.
Look at a replay of this move that Harrod pulled off as well. Just comes through Blanchimont. He got a good run through there, didn't he? Oh, he had a massive moment going into that as well, but just let the car run out wide, took the 1X. And then, like you say, yeah, just lined it up. Oh, you could see the work he's having to do on the wheel to brake as late as he did there as well. Left, right, just dragging that car and hoping that it's not going to hit Michael Blake as through the braking zone. But yeah, in the end, from the outside, it looked nice and comfortable. But on the inside, it looked a little frantic.
Michael Blake and Stephen Baxter might get a little frantic here as well. Baxter going through. Rename it Stephen Baxter TV, Adam. It seems to feature him nearly every time we're on.
That's the second time that he's not moving that part of the circuit, so we may as well call it Lay Baxter.
Oh, but way back, Dan Hunt, 22nd, 21st, and 23rd. Rob Graham in there as well with Paul Smith. They were 3 wide for a moment, going at the end of the Kenmore Street. Still having a little battle out there as well.
Dan Hunt as well.
Yeah, good move for a Hunt.
Dan Hunt as well, who was second in qualifying and didn't have the best of first races. Not having the best of second races, but he is up 4 positions. Oh, black hole. Oh, black wall there.
Oh, big one. Now, we saw Simon Field have a big one there back in our first season of covering the series. Dan Craft, the instigator in that. Wonder if Blackhall's going to be happy about that.
That was a big one. Jake Blackhall, the Australian. Well, might have to rely
a little
on
nudge from behind,
now.
and then you know what it's like when they catch that court panel area. Wow.
Right then, it is McFarlane versus Fluke, and yeah, Woody, if you said it was 2 laps, and I'm sure McFarlane would be happy because it would have been the last lap, but we've got one more to do after this. And not only does Jamie Fluke have the slipstream, but he has his teammate Savidovic coming with him as well. So this final lap, we're going to have to see what Ross McFarlane's truly made of.
McFarlane has proved in his rookie season that he's no slouch in the British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. Jamie Fluke has won the title before, and Wojciech Savidovic has won 2. Alex, a tall order for the next 7 kilometres for that man, car number 20.
Yeah, absolutely. Jamie trying to get a wide as line as possible so he can carry as much speed, get on that gas early, and he does. You can see he's almost alongside already.
Oh, he's going for the outside into the source. Oh no, sorry, on the replay. Exit of the source on the way to Eau Rouge.
Here we go then, are we going to go through Eau Rouge side by side, or is Fluke going to wait his turn? He does the sensible option. Climbs all over that inside curve. McFarlane gets a neat and tidy run.
Anything Ross can do, I think, is for the inside.
He may need more than just a tidy run to stave off Jamie Fluke and Wojciech Savidovic. Here we go.
Oh, it's going to be Zonta and Hakkinen and Schumacher here, isn't it?
Can't leave the door open when Wojciech Savidovic is there because he will take advantage. Fluke up the inside into Lecombe. They're still side by side. Savidovic is looking at his own teammate. He's just staying behind Savidovic. He's not attacking Fluke. Fluke is attacking McFarlane into Rivage. Up the inside he tries. He hits him. Scotsman wrestles with the wheel as he tries to keep control.
Oh, fantastic defensive driving this is. Just positioning the car straight via the appropriate times. And Jamie Fluke, you can see, he's rattled already. We've got half a lap to go. And the Winter Series champion of a few years ago, and Jamie Fluke is running out of opportunities to get the win as we go through Pouhon.
Going to take Alex here. Lunge into the bus stop maybe.
I think so. We've seen Jamie go around the outside. He seems pretty proficient at it.
Ooh.
Maybe he wants to get by, give his teammate the opportunity to get second as well. Early, so maybe a move before that.
Wojciech Savidovic going to go into business for himself. Adam is going to Stavolo.
Yeah, second place could be on for him as well. Let's not forget that we don't often see AM drivers take victories in the BSRTC too often. It is AM versus Pro here.
What do you do here in this situation? Which side do you defend? I think he may have defended the wrong side. Ross McFarlane, I don't think he had much of a choice, but he's on the inside. Savidovic trying to just nudge Jamie Fluke towards the win. They are side by side in Bonchemont. Savidovic is on the grass, and McFarlane still continues to defend. He's still gripping on with his fingernails for this victory. Into the bus stop chicane then, on the final lap. Up the inside goes McFarlane. He covers the inside. Savidovic is going to run, but it's going to be McFarlane. Ross McFarlane, Northern Lights Racing, wins at Spa.
What a win. What a final lap, Ross McFarlane as well, to stop the 2 Apex cars, 2 of the best drivers, not just on the BSRTC, but on the iRacing platform, to get the win. Brilliant.
And Martin front in 4th position, just 2.2 seconds behind. And then all this coming across the line, Alex. What do you make of all this?
Yeah, crazy. I think we lost Rob Graham on the last lap, unfortunately, as well.
Oh, Christie and Cunniff, 2 Scotsmen into the final corner, and Christie's going to get there. Hackerson, slow down. He missed the chicane. Needs to get that served before he crosses the line, otherwise he will be disqualified. I think he's done it.
Yeah, and Graham disqualified on the last lap. Kip Stevens, while he was on the pole, had that pit lane start. Could be in with a shout here. The car looks pretty clean. Yeah, he's going to be coming across the line, and yeah, he should take the 37th place finish. 38th.
Yeah, I think you're right. 38th place then. Hadfield, Smolenski, were they disqualified? Were they? Blackhall obviously retired. Did he finish?
Wasn't.
Jake finished lap 5, so Jake Blackhall will be the contender for the full, and that's very important for him in his quest to make the showdown.
Yes, indeed. Jake Blackhall did not get disqualified, so yeah, he will be eligible. Just seeing who got disqualified. We only had 2, and they were Rizzo and Davis. So yeah, Blackhall should be eligible. But yeah, what a fantastic second race. And we'll get onto the results then. Ross McFarlane takes, as I scroll down the data sheet, his first win in the BSRTC, and what a place to do it, beating the likes of Jamie Fluke and Wojciech Savidovic. And that's only his 2nd ever podium in the BSRTC. 3rd for Savidovic, 4th for Martin Front. a Apex Northern Lights Racing sandwich. I wonder if we would have been predicting that at the start of the season. Russell Laidler in 5th, 6th for Pete Harrod, 7th Stephen Baxter, 8th for Michael Blake, 9th Richard Gore and 10th Scott Malcolm. Chepolewski in 11th, 12th for Nicole Foggy, 13th for Tristan Bodis, John Roberts in 14th, Diogo Melro in 15th, then Miguel Freitas in 16th, Dave Baker in 17th place, 18th for Laura Murray, 19th for Laura Bond, and 20th place for Forstein Helgeson. Dan Hunt 21st with Paul Smith in 22nd, George Simmons in 23rd, Michael Hall 24th, Dan Kraft in 25th. After that contact with Jake Blackhall, I wonder if there might be any inquiries made after that. Rob Graham in 26th, Josh Thompson 46th to 27th, 28th for Roy Ververke, 29th Craig Evans and 30th for Stuart McFadden. The first for Matt Keeber, Mark Woodhouse started 13th, finished 32nd, so issues for him during the race. I wonder if he might have encountered a pit lane start. Dave Christie, we saw him coming across the line, pipping Colin Cunniff for the 33rd place. 34th for Cunniff, 35th for Pete Newman, 36th for Sven Glatzel, Ben Hackerson in 37th, 38th for Kip Stevens, the official pole sitter, but had that pit lane start, of course. Then a lap down, Adam Hadfield, also a lap down, Alex Smolensky, Blackhall also 1 lap down, and then Stuart Atkinson 2 laps down, Ash Sutton also 3 laps down, and the cars that were 5 laps down, the cars that encountered issues pretty much right from the get-go. Nathan Davis disqualified at the end of the second lap of the race. Cesare Rizzo also fell by the wayside, along with Jamie Ayres, who barely got going here in race 2.
Yeah, thanks for that, Adam. Race 2 was pretty exciting and fantastic win, Alex, by Ross McFarlane. And but rest assured, he's going to be starting quite a long way back now.
Well, maybe not. Who knows? We might get a small one, but still, we'll do well to repeat that. That's for sure. What's the lowest? 26, I think we could possibly spin for him.
I think so.
But yeah,
that's
fantastic
still a long way
drive,
back.
Yeah, true. Fantastic drive though. Need to take my hat off to him as well. It's not easy to defend, especially when you've not had a win like that as well. The pressure must have been pretty immense in that final lap, and he placed his car extremely well in all the right places as well. I mean, going down that Kemmel straight, he thought he defended Jamie off nicely, pushed him to the outside, and then Wodge was there as well, having a little sniff up the inside. He was like, what? I'm being double teamed here, and he kept his cool, made sure he didn't miss any of his braking marks as well, and it was really fair too. It was fair defending. He didn't sort of force anyone off the track. He left enough room for Jamie in that as well. So, you know, it's really, really good driving from him. So congrats to Ross.
All right. Well, yeah, so... Well,
the
Adam,
wheel.
Yeah, the wheel.
Here we go. Alex, let's spin the wheel.
Where we're looking. Going down. I don't think we're going to get full. It's not going to be so short. Is it going to be 38th or 30th? 30th it is. Pretty comfortably.
8th place then is Stuart McFadden. So we've not really spoken about him at all tonight. He gained 13 positions in that race, and his reward will be pole for race 3. So thank you for joining us for the first 2 rounds of the evening. We've still got half the night's action to come, and most probably a 50-degree track temperature or something ridiculous like that for race 3, when we return on iRacing Live and Apex Racing TV.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
Truex in the outside, contact made. 56 slides it into 4. Who's going to be at the stripe? Dead even, give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
iRacing.com is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all over the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. iRacing's web-based interface allows members to compare stats and test drive any combination of car and track instantly. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 60,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsport organizations like SRO Motorsports Group to deliver virtual races based on the real-life Blancpain GT series. iRacing's Blancpain Endurance Series features team racing, giving members the ability to build a team and participate in races ranging from 3 hours to 24 hours. Additional partners include NASCAR, IMSA, V8 Supercars, IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own 24 hours of Spa, Bathurst 1000, Daytona 500, and many more. iRacing.com, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but it can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
Truex in the outside, contact made. 56 slides it into 4. Who's going to be at the stripe? Dead even, give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
Welcome back to Spa-Francorchamps, the iRacing MSA British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. I'm here with Adam Bath and Alex Simpson. And, well, Alex, bring you in first this time. Sun has come out. Someone has put a giant magnifying glass between the sun and the track. And now it's 50 degrees. 44 degrees, sorry.
Well, what can you say? It's going to be a vastly different race in terms of where drivers are going to have to brake and trying to conserve tyres, all this kind of stuff. So we'll see who can excel with that and make their way through the pack as well. Yeah, should be a good race nonetheless. I'm looking forward to it. We've had 2 good ones so far. Fantastic job from McFarlane in the last one, picking up his first BSRTC victory, and this is going to be a blast, I'm sure.
Oh, you're right. And Adam, well, reversed 30 cars for this one, and well, much hotter out there. Of course, the race is going to be different, as Alex was saying, but I'm sure the racing will be just as close as it was before.
Yeah, we've got a pretty good reverse grid as well to shake up the action as always. So yeah, looking forward to this one. And yeah, with a massive reverse grid, nearly a full reverse grid, with Stuart McFadden on the pole and Craig Evans second. I wonder if we could get another Scottish team on the top of the podium.
Yeah, Roy Ververke in third as well. So then Josh Thompson for Fanatec. We're hoping he gets off the line this time, as will Daniel Kraft, who starts in 6th just behind him. Michael Hall, George Simmons, Rob Graham, Paul Smith, Daniel Hunt, they make up the top 10. And, well, I reckon we're in for a cracker, because there are the championship contenders, Alex, are spread out throughout the entire grid.
Yeah, so who knows what kind of strategy they're going to play. Some might just play it safe and try and get a good reverse for a good race 4. Others, will need a good race right now. Could be some different tactics going on out there as well.
Yep, and any moment now, the red lights are going to come on. Round 82 of the iRacing MSA British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship will be underway. Here we go then, red lights are on.
Green, green, green.
And the green light is on. Start by McFadden. It's away and clear, a bit like Martin Kroenke in the World Championship race the other day. He's going to have the preferred line into turn 1. 4 wide in the middle. Thompson and the Automec car get into it, and also Hall and Simmons getting into it.
They will survive though. Good from them. They give each other enough room on the exit to fall. Oh, it's close. Still going into Eau Rouge though.
Oh man, you do not want a David Coulthard situation. Adam down here.
Actually, we don't want to spar 98
slow down
on our
for someone though. Who was that? Ververke? Yeah, Ververke. Line was all wrong. Terrible.
His home race.
It's going to be a massive problem, and he needs to get off the track, because you know what people are like.
He's on the grass. You think that's a safe place.
That'll do the job.
Yep.
Look how slow he's having to go. Poor Ververke.
Ridiculous, isn't it? You start 3rd, and he'll be 43rd any time now. I
don't know why it's so bad, but it's worse in this car than it is any other. You know, I haven't seen any other as bad as this. I mean...
Oh! Sorry, no, I agree. And Stuart McFadden, though, will be happy with the situation. He's leading. Craig McLeod-Evans in 2nd. And remember that we were told the other week by some of the drivers, Adam, that they're just nursing their tyres around in such hot temperatures.
Oh yeah, with 44 degrees Celsius, you're going to do that. It's Diogo Melro, that's what I was going mental at just then. He had a bit of contact with it wasn't Force and Helmson, it was someone that was near him. And now he's right in the mix. I think it was Freitas actually, as they go through Puoni's wheel to wheel with a Northern Lights racing car, and there's an Apex car in there as well.
That looks like foggy. No, it's not foggy, is it?
Is
it
foggy.
40? Oh, 43. Oh, it is.
Yeah.
It is foggy, yeah.
Got foggy then.
through.
Yeah. But you were going to say you had some contact with the Force India or something.
Wrong
F1
series.
F1 on the brain, I think. For the Belgian Grand Prix this week. F1 2017 is out. Tomorrow, happy days, yeah, that's it. And we've got brilliant racing here on iRacing.
Thompson right tucked up behind Craig now for 2nd place. Maybe a look into the bus stop.
Thompson didn't have such a happy time of it when he was here the other week in the Renault, Alex, but see what he can do in the Kia. Well, it didn't start off well for him. He's on the inside.
In the mix.
Oh, and there's the Newton's cradle going on at the chicane, and Kraft is around slightly, and that puts him under pressure then from Hall and from Hunt.
Oh, it's kicking off in the background.
And that is Evans attacking Thompson back into La Source.
Oh, sorry, an Apex car looked like a bit of damage in the far background of the shot on the front straight. But yeah, here we go. Might have been Savidovic, it might have been that far back, or maybe even Gore.
Kraft and Hunt almost side by side into a Rouge. You dance. Josh Simmons following closely.
Through Raddy on then, look speed for the first time.
Off goes Helgeson, I think he might have a slowdown.
Lap 2 is almost just as bad as lap 1 when it comes to slowdowns here. Yeah, he's dropped a few positions already. As here comes the boosted car of Simmons around the outside of Hunt, but looks like the grip isn't just there on the outside in the early stages of the race, and this allows Paul Smith an opportunity.
Definitely won't be there later as well with all the marvels. Paul Smith having a really good meeting so far. And Alex, well...
Baker having a little look on Paul,
Baker.
Doesn't really defend it. Let's Baker go.
That will be a Tuesday night move, isn't it? For Baker? Being allowed through like that?
Yeah.
A shame we don't see Dave Baker on Tuesday nights anymore, I must admit. Laura Bond going wide, and she's going to lose her place to Chepelevsky. You would think, anyway. It's Pouon. Here's Foggy getting on the scene. Bond defending really well in Pouon. It's a tough place to get a move done. Cheppy's really trying hard. On the outside into the Fanius chicane. They run it all the way around the outside. He's going to have the inside for the left-hander, Adam.
The Fanius chicane they go, not too far away from Stavlo. Bond still trying to hold her own around the outside. Well, at the inside though for the right-hander, this 90 right. And the
driving.
Pink and white car, yeah, Laura Bond putting up a resolute performance. We've seen some good defensive drives today. We saw that with Ross McFarlane in race 2, but around the outside of curve Paul Frere, it's Stallion Chepelevsky that moves up into 11th place.
Cheppy through, and you've got action between Baker and the Northern Lights racing car of
Evans. He's dropped a few positions
Evans,
from third to 6th in this lap.
I was in third position, so I wonder what happened to Craig Evans. He lost out to
Cole's
Thompson.
out as well, guys, so something going on there. 2 races in a row, isn't it?
If that was a crash.
Oh, look at this closing up and into the bus stop as well. Who's that? Is that? That is Craig and Daniel Hunt in there as well. Baker trying to get involved in the mix as well.
Smith minding his own business as well, which he'll be quite happy about. But the inside goes Baker.
Oh. As Hunt runs into the back of Simmons through La Source.
Yeah.
Bit of rear end damage there to the boosted car.
A bit of a boost from Hunt, didn't he?
Not a boost, yeah.
One. Thompson really quick through Eau Rouge, much quicker than McFadden, who looked like he was a bit tentative.
He's got the gap down to half a second. He was only half a second quicker though on the last lap, and we saw with McFarlane.
Craft on Holt team orchestrated move there, I believe.
He just blended out, didn't he, there, and let him go.
Oh,
behind though.
Oh,
yeah, mate. That's not orchestrated at all. Simmons and Hunt. That's a feisty one for position. And Simmons, he has to cover the inside surely into Rivage. Might as well have a look on the inside as long as you don't understeer wide. Keir's got understeer at the best of times. Alex Rivage is just going to make that one worse.
Yeah, absolutely. Corner where you really need to be trail braking all the way in, and yeah, the Kia doesn't like that too much.
Oh, Chepelevsky gets hit by...
Who's that on the outside there?
Or Murray, is it? 31? Graham, I think. Yeah,
Graham in the automatic knock-hill car? Yeah.
Yes, it is. Bond. Now this is a freight train situation, unless Rob Graham can stop the rot.
The rot. Can't stop the rot. And... Bond trying the outside. That's the move that Cheppy did to her. And it's going to make it, I think.
Chepelevsky getting a bit forceful and trying to get past Craig Evans. You can hear the contact there.
Yeah, and you can see Diogo Melro, but he's on the outside. He's a bit boxed in. Portuguese driver.
Oh, it is Melro.
Club Series champion and Club Series champion.
Round the outsiders of Paul Frere. Oh, he's not given much space at all by Rob Graham.
Graham racing really well and hard, and Harrod is in there as well. And Woodhouse, is it?
That's
It's
too
not
wide in front
Woodhouse,
of these.
it's
as well.
Freitas, sorry.
Chepelewski's just by the Northern Lights racing car. There's two of them again. It's
Balfour
Foggy
leads.
and Evans. Balfour lead. Has it arrived?
Yep, Thompson, he tried to move in the bus stop, and Alex McFadden, he defended well, and he's just in front of him still.
Craig dropping down the order, maybe disqualification for him.
Thompson
Got
on the
bumped
inside, he's flying there.
Oh,
He's missed the corner.
I thought he'd done a Lewis on Raikkonen from 2008 there, but it nearly worked.
It was a good attempt for these last couple positions. Crap.
And I think Craig Evans might have been disqualified. I
Already?
think he's disappeared off my screen.
Yeah, same here.
So from 3rd to 8th to disqualification in the space of about a lap.
You've got to give it to Josh Thompson. Thanks for some of the stuff he attempts, at least. Bond and Graham at the top of Eau Rouge. Bond gets forced wide. She's going to come back on the track safely. She does. One of the Apex cars hits Graham, and so does Melrose.
Kraft for the lead as well into Lake Com. He goes out onto the dirty stuff. Josh Thompson back around the outside of the CQRS line car. Forces his way through as well.
Fadden says, thank you very much, boys. I'll take that. Keep my lead. Kraft. Thompson defends hard. Fairly. Kraft has to settle. Oh, no,
he doesn't. Oh, no, he doesn't. That's the way not to do it, yes, could say.
Yeah, well, it might be the way to do it. Thompson's not going to like that.
This could quickly descend into a Punch and Judy show here.
It already has. There's the first punch. The jab from Daniel Kraft. Like a left hook by Conor McGregor. Goes through.
Gonna need the look of the Irish to escape from this one, I think. Simmons blinking in and out as well. That's not going to help matters. As Dan Hunt leans on Hall.
It's a great battle, this, isn't it?
Simmons is having a little blink in there as well, just to spice it up a little bit.
What makes it better, Alex, as well, is at the front of the pack is Stuart McFadden, the leader. So it is effectively a big battle for the lead.
Rob Graham dropping down the order, and looks like he's out.
That
I think
is
that was a crash.
disqualification.
Was
And
it
is Miguel
crash?
Freitas joining him?
Sutton joining him. Possibly Bond.
They're all
Sutton
dropping
get
down
up
like
there?
flies. Yeah, there's 3 cars in a group just disqualified altogether. Freitas is still there, but
Can you check that out, Adam, while we're watching this battle? See what's
Yeah,
going
sure.
on between those.
come back through the tapes.
McFadden still leads then. Kraft in second. Thompson third. Then Hall. Then Simmons. Hunt. Baker. And Smith.
It wasn't her fault. It was Stephen Baxter going around the outside of her, going through curve Paul Frere. He hits the left rear, and that's what disqualifies Laura.
Baker into Hunt big
Baker's
time.
crashed
Spins
with
him round. They're
Daniel Hunt.
stopped on the apex.
Baker's got to reverse. And he almost hits Harrod.
Poor Dan, he's just going to sit there. Dan, get it in reverse, and when you've got a gap, just try and go. 'Cause
Nice.
At this point, he's just
Turning
going
the
to
road,
get
I
himself
think.
disqualified for going the wrong way on the circuit if he goes too far.
Actually driving the wrong way.
around the circuit.
That's
Has he been disqualified? Unbelievable.
no, he's not. He's not.
Well,
But I think Baker's
Make
going
a
to pick up
U-turn.
a pretty hefty penalty for that because of the amount of positions that he lost there.
Make a U-turn.
In all my years of
Now we'll make
commentating
another
on
one. Hey, mate.
it's Dan Hunt! Nearly into the back of McFadden going through the
Kraft,
Lake
you
Coombe
mean?
chicane.
It's
It's
Kraft.
Kraft. Yes, Kraft. What did I say?
Hunt. He just got crashed off by Baker. McFadden.
It's Thompson!
No!
Take that! Again!
Have it. He says up the inside.
I think
Tit
was
for tat
well as
there, I think, to be honest.
That was the left hook. Definitely coming.
well, he was met with fire and fury there.
Now Josh Thompson's locked and loaded to try and get past Stuart McFadden. And will he trump the Scotsman? Silence says everything, really, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I have a feeling silence will fall eventually. Going into
Go
the
on, Alex, you
chicane.
take it. You just. It's all right laughing at people, isn't it? Make your own jokes up.
I'm terrible. That's why I stay silent.
All right, so what? Stuart McFadden's going to have his hands full here, isn't he?
That's it, exactly. This is what we can have. 1 lap to go as we're coming in.
What's the time?
I think actually the best thing for Stuart right now is that it seems more like Kraft and Thompson are more focused on each other right now. So could be if those two go at it at the end of the Kenmore Straight again, that might just be what Stuart needs.
Is it a Blanchimon for the penultimate time, and McFadden now has to feel the pressure from Josh Thompson, who's got a relatively clear front end despite the argy-bargy that he's been in today. Going into the final corner, round the outside goes Josh Thompson. Now here comes Dan Kraft back on the inside, but it will become the outside for the second part of the chicane.
Wow. No holds barred out here, isn't it?
One more lap to go.
Indeed, there is. 7 kilometres, 21 corners. And what is
Thompson?
Thompson's all over the place. And look how much it's slowed this entire pack down.
Well, the top 5 are separated by, well, at the line, 9 tenths, but I think it might be a bit less than that.
They just crawled into La Source that time. I think the water that runs down the hill was going faster than them. And
it might be a clever trick by Stu McFadden because he's backing Thompson and Kraft into each other, but it might come back to haunt him.
Thompson nearly cut the course at the top of the hill. I think he's very fortunate to took a lot of that inside curb, Alex.
Yeah, he did, but he got the run. He's more than cleared.
Kraft's
Kraft just gives him a little nudge.
He doesn't want Thompson to win this, I don't think.
No, Thompson won't win it now, and McFadden's off. He's going to get a slow down penalty as well.
Dan Kraft will take the lead, but McFadden rejoins. Now, remember what happened at Virginia. We don't want that.
No, but
Thompson is gone. I don't know where he's rejoined. He's in
Stuart
fifth.
McFadden, though. He's got to serve the slowdown.
Well, Max Wright. Wright at Virginia. Now,
In
it
fairness,
looks like
he can probably. I mean, did he keep his position by going off? I'm not sure he did. He wouldn't have lost out to Kraft at least.
I think he got a nudge from Kraft.
He
so
would have lost
from behind in the braking zones. So that's kind of all fair. To be fair, if he's managed to serve that slowdown penalty, then don't see there's anything wrong with that.
He did get an advantage on Thompson, but Thompson went off on his own. So yeah. I think it's okay. But final lap then, drama, controversy. This is what we want. This is what we need.
Not over and done with yet though. Kraft's still in range to have a look into the bus stop.
There could be some fallout from this.
Yep.
See what I did there. I don't know.
Does that go with the? I was going to say, does that go with the earlier jokes? It does.
Yeah.
Dan Kraft then. Let's have a look. Right in the slipstream though of the Automet car, and McFadden surely is going to have to defend hard into the bus stop chicane through Blanchimont then for the final time. Kraft hits the curb. He is in striking distance, is he? Thinks about to move. Oh, McFadden's defending. In case.
Could be it, I think.
He's done well there, hasn't he? Hall nearly hits his teammate, but Stuart McFadden wins round 82 of the season. Ahead of Kraft and Hall and Simmons and Thompson and Smith and Cheppy and Fogg.
Paul Smith getting 6th.
Very good, isn't it?
Comes everyone else.
John Roberts very close, but I think John's going to get that one.
The Royal One manages to.
Someone else will slow down on the final lap as well.
Atkinson, he missed the chicane in the first race, didn't he? On the final lap. Exactly the same thing. Stevens coming across in 30th.
Gets him disqualified as well.
Oh, was that just after the line, or?
He's back.
The internet connection.
It was just his connection as normal, isn't it?
Oh, the boosted team have had that.
Your brother's at it again.
Oh dear. We've been through this. As oh dear. Dan Hunt 33rd in the end. After that, I reckon Dave will be finding himself at the back of the grid next week.
I'm having some fun out there doing some drifting. In front wheel drive.
Why not? I mean, yeah, it's fun. Why not?
Oh dear, yeah, that is quite cool to see. Do we have a handbrake in the BSRTC?
You can map a handbrake, can't you?
I
if it works.
I don't know if it's ever useful at all.
I don't know. Let's have a look in the controls. Can you map a handbrake? I used to be convinced that you could. Maybe you can't.
Simpson?
I think that's our factor. It's the handbrake.
Oh, is it? Oh, it is. Yeah, I think you're right. Oh well, there we go. Adam, if you can take us to the results then of this really epic race.
There you go. There's a bit of something that you didn't know about iRacing. Stuart McFadden takes the win. Second for Dan Craft. Look at those drifts as they go through the Fania chicane. Michael Hall gets third, making it 2 CQR cars on the podium. Fourth for George Simmons. Josh Thompson in fifth. Sixth for Paul Smith. Seventh for Stalin Chepelewski. Eighth for Nicole Foggy. Ninth for Pete Harrod. And 10th for Richard Gord. Dave Baker, another consistent finish from him. 11th place. 12th for Diogo Melrose. Stephen Baxter 13th. Martin Front in 14th. 15th for Jamie Fluke. 16th Rusty Laidler with Ross McFarlane in 17th, the race 2 winner. 18th Lorne Murray. 19th Wojciech Savidovic. And 20th for Michael Blake. Tell you what, Savidovic just hasn't been able to get near the front yet. He's got one more race to go. But ever since that pit lane start in race 1, he hasn't been able to crack those positions near the front. Michael Blake 20th, Matt Keeber 21st, 22nd for Sven Glatzel, 23rd Colin Cunniff, 24th Roy Ververke, 25th John Roberts, 26th for Ben Hackerson, his teammate, 27th for Mark Woodhouse, 28th for Scott Malcolm, 29th Jamie Ayres, and 30th for Kip Stevens, 31st for Thorstein Helgerson, Rizzo 32nd, 33rd Dan Hunt, 34th Pete Newman, and then one lap down Stuart Atkinson. That is a disqualification for Atkinson. He picked up 11 incidents. Alex Smolensky also a lap down. He did not get disqualified. He had a crash. One lap down as well, Tristan Bodis. He was okay as well, I believe. Yeah, he just had a crash in the race. And then Laura Bond, 3 laps down, disqualified. Rob Graham also 3 laps down, a result of the disqualification. Miguel Freitas also got 11 incidents, so quite a few disqualifications here. Ash Sutton qualified. Dave Christie also disqualified. Craig Evans, he picked up the most incidents of anybody, 13, and the limit is 11. Nathan Davis, 5 laps down, disqualified. Not disqualified. I don't know what happened to Nathan Davis. Must have had a big crash. Then Jake Blackhall, 5 laps down. He got turned around into the wall, I think, pretty early on.
Yeah, and well, a fantastic race, and only 10 drivers not making it to the finish. Well, 11 drivers. And reverse grid time then, Alex. And I think we do a full
one already.
You?
Yep, let's bring it up. Let's see what we get.
Final one of the evening.
I mentioned that is Stuart McFadden's. As I try to find him on the screen. I'll tell you what.
It's going to be the full. Oh, quite clearly, yeah, absolutely. Full is.
All reverse grid. Might be Stuart McFadden's
be?
first win. That is, looking through the disqualification, I think that's Tristan Bodis. Tristan Bodis did finish under his own steam. He wasn't disqualified. He didn't hit that incident limit. So it will be Tristan Bodis on the pole for the final race. Second on the grid will be Alex Smolensky. Third will be Pete Newman. Because Stuart Atkinson got disqualified. So yeah, Pete Newman third, fourth, Dan Hunt, and Rizzo will be in fifth.
Right then. Well, one more race to go tonight, and we will bring you that just after the break here on Apex Racing TV and iRacing Live, as the iRacing MSA British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship continues.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but it can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
Truex in the outside contact made. 56 slides it into 4. Who's going to be at the stripe? Dead even. Give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
iRacing.com is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all over the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. iRacing's web-based interface allows members to compare stats and test drive any combination of car and track instantly. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 60,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsport organizations like SRO Motorsports Group to deliver virtual races based on the real-life Blancpain GT series. iRacing's Blancpain Endurance Series features team racing, giving members the ability to build a team and participate in races ranging from 3 hours to 24 hours. Additional partners include NASCAR, IMSA, V8 Supercars, IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own 24 hours of Spa, Bathurst 1000, Daytona 500, and many more. iRacing.com, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car.
I'll come back to Spa. Nightfall has descended, and this racing might just descend into madness in the British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. Andrew Woodhouse with you, and Alex Simpson will be along in a minute. But first of all, Adam Bath. Adam, it's going to be a sight. 40 odd cars going into La Source with lights blazing.
Yeah, it's all crept up on us all of a sudden this Nightfall, hasn't it? We should see how, or hopefully try and see how this gets on, because we don't have any number indicators on the side of the cars like the Le Mans, for example, so we will try and pick out as many drivers as we can. But yeah, the sight of 50 Kia Optimas going into the first corner is going to be pretty interesting. But the front straight bathed in light as the cars take up their positions on the grid.
Tristan Bottas is in pole position. He's in front of Alex Smolensky with Stuart Atkinson, his boosted teammate behind him, Pete Newman in 4th, Dan Hunt 5th, Cesare Rizzo 6th, then Helgeson, Stevens, Ayres and Malcolm making up the top 10. Here we go, 5 seconds to go then before the red lights are on. In fact, they're on now.
Green, green, green.
Green light is on, Bottas gets away very well, and as does Smolensky. Decent start for Roberts, nothing spectacular. Smolensky has 2 bites at the cherry to turn into a La Source. Bottas was a bit slow through there, and that means Smolensky goes up into the lead.
Now remember guys, it is 18 degrees, it is almost 30 degrees cooler than it was in race 3, so be careful through Eau Rouge. And Smolensky is gone into the wall.
Oh, and Woodhouse.
And others.
Woodhouse in the
Lots
wall.
of going.
An absolute massacre at Eau Rouge.
Now, I did warn you all, or maybe a bit too late. Oh, up the Kemmel Straight they go for the first time.
Too late for them anyway. I think we lost Atkinson as well, so all the top 3 bit the dust.
Well, Pete Newman leads.
Yeah, Newman.
Bottas second.
Oh yeah, Bottas didn't bite the dust then, at least. And then 3rd is 39, that's Cesare Rizzo. And then Hunt, and then Atkinson, Stevens, Cunniff, Helgeson and Hackerson.
Hackerson up inside the top 10 for once. He'll be hoping that his internet and those slowdowns don't hurt him, as it's wheel to wheel between Cunniff and Stevens going into Pouhon. No move there by the Scottish Northern Lights Racing driver.
Unfortunately for Smolensky, he was the first one to get to Eau Rouge, Alex, wasn't he?
Well, yeah, and I think everyone saw people going off, so they all just slowed down a little bit, realised it was pretty treacherous going up there. So
Nathan Davis is out.
Again?
Yeah, Nathan was one that slid off in Eau Rouge as well.
Yeah, mate, awful meeting for Davis. I think he's finished the race.
2 DQs, a crash and another crash, so you ain't crashing, you're DQing.
Put that one behind you. For next week, Stevens under pressure from the Northern Lights Racing car, who's off onto the grass.
No grip out there at all. He slots in behind the boosted car as they go through Blanchimont. And now here comes Hackerson on Stevens.
Well, he's spent an evening missing the chicane, so no my breath for Ben Hackerson at the minute. He's through on Stevens, and Cunniff having a look as well, and is that Glatzel? Made his way through the field well. I can hear some contacts at the bus stop.
Hackerson's vanished. He's back again.
Here, doing the usual.
As it means to go on.
Oh! He just appeared in the air. Hackerson. Absolute nightmare for the drivers, isn't it?
Nathan Davis will be hoping for better things at Monza next week.
Look at the speed of Tristan Bottas though. He's tracked down Pete Newman to within 0.3 of a second. He's really on him now.
Broke away already. That is crucial because Dan Hunt won't be able to pick up the slipstream. He might have just fallen away from them now as Glatzel and Stevens go into combat. In fact, a bit too wide down the Kemmel Straight. Those are the 2 boosted cars going as it. Hackerson makes the move into Lake Coombe just about, and he's through into 5th.
There's Stuart Atkinson. Yep.
Oh, it's Glatzel.
Oh, he's wide. Oh, he keeps his foot in it. I'm not sure that was that sensible, but Colin Cunniff wise to it. Is that in the Apex Racing car? Is that Wojciech Svidovic?
It is indeed.
It is. He's one of the biggest movers as well. 9 positions gained for the 2-time champion, the reigning champion. And then here comes Glatzel. He's trying to split the boosted and Northern Lights racing car.
Here then on the exit of Pouon. Who gets the better exit? Is it Atkinson or is it Sven Glatzel? Wojciech Swidovic trying to...
Oh,
he's going down the outside. He switched the last second. And Wojciech Swidovic going through on Stuart Atkinson.
Evans as well, trying to get through.
Great move
through
there
on the boosted car. Great move by both Swidovic and Ben Glatzel. They needed to get by Stuart Atkinson and they have done so. Atkinson now down to 9th.
Casualties so far: Smith, Graham, Foggy, Woodhouse, Smolenski, Blake and Davies.
I wonder what happened to Paul Smith, because he always tells us about the conditions during the breaks.
Yeah, he's very good at usually adapting to those conditions as well. We're doing quite a lot of endurance racing in the past.
Day to night transitions coming. We're going to start to see, you know, maybe not in this event, but in those endurance ones, the difference in track temperatures and things like that, and how that's going to affect the car and things like that. Because
I wonder if you,
it makes a huge difference, doesn't it, to the track surface temperature.
I wondered though if you could put a scale on that. I wonder if we could start a race in the time and put, I don't know, a ×10 scale and end it in darkness.
Maybe. I mean, I do think that, you know, I do think there's some scope for adding endurance races back into the BSRTC, because it would teach the drivers a little bit about getting after the car maybe as well. But that could be pretty good. Great shot of the cars, Alex, going towards Eau Rouge. Rain of lights illuminating the circuit.
We had a few like great shots actually coming into there tonight. So
That's still thinking about a look on Cunniff, but not quite quick enough. The German down the straight to make anything happen. Although he's got a great exit.
Oh,
might be able to size him up through Malmedy.
oh wow, look at that! That's 4 wide.
Yeah, 4 wide through the middle of the Lake chicane, and it was Baxter that was the casualty. Helgeson hit.
Graham's off.
Oh, goodness me, what's going on?
Oh, it's Ververke into Helgeson, into Cheppy. Oh,
and that's...
And up the middle is Thompson.
And here comes front gets hit, into the Fanatec, into the wall goes Baxter.
I think Baxter started that all off with his making it 4 wide. Look on.
What
and
I have to
ends
say,
up getting buried into the wall.
I have to say, what driving from Josh Thompson on those couple of corners. Absolutely amazing.
Bit of damage to the back end of that Kia Optima, but nonetheless, he's up to 15th place, 18 positions gained. That's the most of any driver, I think.
Malcolm and Simmons having a contact. And Michael Hall trying to make a move on Scott Malcolm. McFadden's in there, race 3 winner, and George Simmons is alongside still. Oh, and there's a bit of contact between McFadden and Simmons.
McFadden won race 3. And Simmons was up there near the front in race 3 as well. Michael Hall fighting out with the other Automatic car of Scott Malcolm, who started at the front for one of the earlier races. Great battle this is going on.
Glatzel and Sridovic having a bit of a two out there.
You need to switch your attention to Dan Hunt and Tristan Bottas. I think Hunt could have an opportunity to move into second. He's definitely a lot quicker than the likes of Newman and Co out there as well. So if he gets by Bottas, he's got a great shot at potentially winning this one.
Well, there goes what I said, that Dan Hunt was out of the draft and maybe out of contention. He's right back in it now. He's got 3 laps to go, and look at the run.
Perfect run through Eau Rouge, and that's precisely what you want, Alex. So he's not too close to the car in front, and he can really use that momentum to get a run. But Newman is smartly moving to the inside, trying to avoid the slipstream and avoid getting caught in it.
Bottas a bit deep.
It's Schumacher versus Hill here.
Bottas tries to fight back, but Hunt is through into second place, and you're right, he can now go after Pete Newman. Newman's trying to make it a perfect record of showdowns, of course, this year. I know I say that very often, but one of the only drivers, Adam, really, there's only a few drivers who've made it into both showdowns.
All with different teams, I think. 2015 with his own team, Pete Newman Media. 2016 with Simpson Racing, and here with Race of the CQR.
There you go, that's a good start. Not often he goes from team principal back to a racer.
Hall, Chepelewski, all around sort of 19th place. This is very good. Baxter.
And you can tell there's a lot of cars here because the track is very well lit as they go down the straight. Baker versus Cheppy. This could be one of the fights of the season when it comes to the final few races.
That's it, they might be slugging it out over the 2017 championship, and they're slugging it out. No! Baker's into the wall.
And somehow
Probably out of the
Chepelewski,
race, Cheppy survives.
yeah, amazing, because it looked like for a moment that he was the one that was going to be the one going head on into the wall.
Big moment
He's
there.
able to survive.
Huge
Baker's
moment.
going again, which is at least a good thing, even if he has got pretty hefty damage. Where is he?
He's not going to be able to stay. Oh, I don't know. He might be able to. He'll probably be able to make it actually round to score points, but that's not what he wanted. And a bit of an unfortunate situation there between both of them.
Just came together, just a racing instant, wasn't it? I mean,
looks like
again, I guess that will get voted upon, but
An idea of which way it'll go.
Oof. Freitas versus Malcolm, moving swiftly onwards, going into the final chicane. Automech versus Team Mad. Also just in front of them, it's wheel to wheel between another Automech guy. Still Simmons versus McFadden.
Freitas was having a little look, and Simmons just dives up the inside
God,
there, doesn't he? So well, I'm not going to commit to the move. I'm going to go through.
Look at that just behind them, Alex, as well. You've got Scott
Gerard,
Malcolm,
Roberts, Helgeson. It's crazy.
doesn't it? And Melrose with damage, and Rob Graham, I think it is as well. Oh, it's Lon Murray.
Side by
Back
side
of
for
that
Kraft into a Rouge.
Oh,
Oops,
Dan
Rouge.
Hunt round the outside for the lead.
Oh, where's this come from? He leads.
Dan Hunt gets through at Lacombe. I think Newman was hot into the corner. Hunt takes advantage.
Watching that back on a replay because he was about half a second behind going into the corner. Yeah, lock up for Newman, runs out wide, gets it all wrong, and Hunt pounces.
Oh, Stuart Atkinson's had an issue. Oh dear. In fact, it's been a few issues. Atkinson and Ayres collide going into the Lacombe chicane. And, yeah, after that he has to serve a slowdown and loses a few positions.
Thompson versus Jamie Ayres actually here.
Oh, Thompson through. Will he be able to make it though?
Ayres might be able to get a cut back here. He's alongside. Oh, Thompson's wide.
Oh, be a bit careful there. Oh, and up the inside, a little bit of a switch back, and he hits him going into the Fania chicane. Tell you what, Thompson's been hit left, right, and centre today. Oh, and Ayres has now been hit.
Oh, Ayres is round.
Please avoid him, everybody. Get on the brakes, Jamie. And he does.
Yeah, mate. Fast and furious action out there tonight. In the iRacing MSA British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship, Andrew Woodhouse, Adam Bath, Alex Simpson. As usual, bringing in all the action for Apex Racing TV.
Here comes Matt Keever, I should say, on Josh Thompson.
Oh, we haven't even seen Matt Keever tonight.
They're joining up in a line, aren't they?
He's blinking around though. Terrible connection for Keever. Excuse me.
On the last lap in a minute, but we have started the last lap. Dan Hunt's across the
Ross
line.
McFarlane, is it?
Oh yeah, the race 2 winner, round the
Having a
outside,
look.
number 20.
On Keeber to stick his nose in, is he? No. Sensible driving. Oh, a bit of contact between Verke and Hall, I think.
Newman's not give this up, guys. He's still 0.2 of a second behind final lap of the race, so surely he's got to go for an opportunity here.
EQR
he's
cars
got-
always
oh,
have
he's
the
cut the
top end
course.
speed.
Got the course as Pete Newman, surely. That looks like he was miles across the inside curve.
Closing in the slipstream though. A gap down to 2 tenths as we get on the brakes into the Lacombe chicane for the final time tonight.
Wow, he's
It
really
is
got
Alloy.
away with that. He was 4 wheels over the inside curve going through Eau Rouge. I don't know how he's got away with that one.
Some of the F1 2015 penalty systems being enforced here.
You mentioned Hackerson as well. Good little battle. Glatzel and Fluke all on the final lap.
Thompson's dropping down the order. I don't know what's happened here. Has he been hit again? Oh no, he went off on his own. McFadden's been
Fadden's gone.
Qualified. Oh dear, so the race 3 winner. Okay, you're saying from race 1, Alex?
Hero to 0 for McFadden. Daniel Hunt, well, let's see if he can take the win. He hasn't taken a win, I don't think, this season. Oh, Wojciech Swidovic having a look on Ben Hackerson through the Fania chicane.
Says he got 2, but he might be on his way to his 3rd win here.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, I don't know where they came. I'll quickly tell you. In fact, I'll tell you after the race.
Through Paul Frere then. He's definitely at the pace, Alex, tonight in the dark conditions, in the cool conditions.
Well, he's been very quick all night, to be honest. The last race, obviously, he was at the back due to being turned by Baker, wasn't he?
Well, he was second in qualifying.
Yeah, he's been very quick, so I'm glad to see him, get a reward, really.
It takes the definitely a deserved win for him if he can take it. He's still going to negotiate the bus stop, but pretty easy when you've been doing what he's been doing for the last 6 laps. And Daniel Hunt comes through. He wins the race. Look at that pack there, though. Savidovic, Hackerson, Glatzel, and Jamie Fluke.
Oh, the fireworks are going off in the air on the track as Ross McFarlane and Matt Keever are showing you. Look at my word, look at this going into the bus stop chicane. Kip Steve, oh, who's that? That's Thompson. Bang! He takes that.
Oh.
Take that, Matt Keever. That might be a bit of retaliation there. It was a dead heat at the line. It was Thompson that got it though, a few thousandths ahead of Matt Keever.
Oh, fantastic as the fireworks light up the sky, just as the headlights on the cars have lit up the circuit, the Spa-Francorchamps tonight. Yeah, fantastic. I can't see the fireworks though. Have you seen the fireworks, Alex, anyway?
No, I'm trying to get a decent camera so we can sort of see it, but no, apparently, and now they've stopped.
That was the budget
oh no, there
we
we
had.
go, the blimp.
Oh, there we go. I've got a shot.
Oh
of him
yes,
now.
that looks pretty cool actually.
Very good. What a way to end tonight's action here in the iRacing MSA British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. And I've done well. There were fireworks in the sky. There were some fireworks on the track as well. And if you could take us through the finishing order then for round 83 of the season.
Well, that race was a sparkler, if that's a verb. But yeah, Dan Hunt takes the win. I was about to say cracker, but that's usually reserved for Christmas. But yeah, race victory for Dan Hunt.
At least it wasn't a turkey.
Oh yeah. I'm sure that a few incidents have put fuel on the bonfire today. Dan Hunt, takes his 3rd victory of the season. He took a race victory in the 2nd race meeting of the season at Brands and at Donington Park a few weeks ago. So those are his other wins, and it's his 3rd today. Pete Newman takes 2nd, Tristan Bodice 3rd, 4th for Wojciech Swidovic with Hackerson in 5th, Sven Glatzel 6th, Jamie Fluke 7th, 8th Cesaro Rizzo, 9th place finish for Colin Cunniff, and 10th for Ross McFarlane. 11th for Josh Thompson, just beating Matt Keever, so it was worth it hitting him through the final corner. 13th for Kip Stevens, 14th for Michael Hall, 15th for Martin Front, 16th for Stadion Chepolewski with Roy Ververke in 17th, 18th for George Simmons, 19th Miguel Freitas, and 20th place for Dan Kraft. 21st for Rusty Lader, Diogo Melro finishing in 22nd. 23rd for Stuart Atkinson with Scott Malcolm in 24th. John Roberts 25th with Lorne Murray in 26th. Jamie Ayres 27th. Dave Christie, that might be one of his best finishers in the BSRTC, I think, 28th place. 29th for Laura Bond, 30th Dave Baker, and then the car's 1 lap down or more. Stuart McFadden disqualified. Stephen Baxter, he too was... he had a crash, didn't he? Yeah, he had a big one. So he finished 1 lap down, having to serve that repair. Then it is Richard Gore, 33rd, 1 lap down. 34th place for Thorstein Helgeson. He saw what happened to him. He looked like he had a few issues. 35th for Craig Evans. He picked up 11 incidents. He was the 2nd of the drivers disqualified today. Then is Pete Harridan, 37th. And then 36th, I should say. 37th, Jake Blackhall. 38th, Rob Graham. Paul Smith out early on, 39th. Then a lot of these drivers met their end in the Eau Rouge wall. It was Nicole Foggy, 5 laps down. Mark Woodhouse, Alex Smolensky. We saw how that happened. He was leading the race when it happened as well. Michael Blake and Nathan Davis. Well, I'm sure he is pretty much gone already. He is on his way to Italy, probably for some sunshine and to get ready for the next race of the BSRTC, which is next week.
I wish we could go to Italy as well. Never mind.
Alex, can we go Italy?
Have we got enough money? Quick. I'll tell you what, Alex, you can you can sum up the meeting for us in so many words, really.
Well, it was a great meeting all round. Even the surprise with the night race at the end, but a couple of people who we wouldn't have expected to win. It would be good if we can get them in and have a little chat with them. I think at least. Obviously, there's a lot of people down there. I don't think we'll be able to get through you all. Sorry, guys. But yeah, I thought it was a great meeting all round and some good hard fought battling, just what Spa usually gives us.
Oh, definitely. And one man who definitely entertained us tonight was Ross McFarlane, race 2 winner. Ross, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hello.
Welcome to the commentary box, and what a great way to get a win tonight. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I surprised myself. I didn't think it was going to be on the cards, but, it happened.
So, got a very, very good start. As did your teammate. Absolutely brilliant move into turn 1 and by Martin. In fact, we'll get Martin in as well. Since we're talking to Ross. It was definitely... can you hear me, Martin, first of all?
Oh, yes, I can.
So, definitely a team effort, Ross. From both of you, really, at the start of the race, and then as it developed, you managed to get just enough of a lead to be able to hold on at the end.
Yep, Martin got off to an absolute flyer. He opened the door into turn 1. We had a slight Ferrari tactic going into the end of the straight, and then he did an excellent job. He was on the pace immediately, holding everyone back. And yeah, like you say, the last 2 laps just gave me enough time to bend valiantly from the far faster cars.
And your defending was very, very good. And what did it take to keep those guys behind? Because we've all raced in the series, and we know how difficult that is. So just sum it up for us in terms of trying to keep back some of the fastest drivers in all of iRacing.
Well, I just had to make sure I put my car on that inside line. It was pretty tricky because they were actually going either side of me at some points, but just trying to brake as late as possible, stay on the inside, get the elbows out if you need to, maybe use a couple of incident points, but that's what it takes.
Martin, a brilliant move into turn 1 to take the lead, but aside from that, great race from yourself. You only finished a couple of seconds behind.
Yeah, I did. To be honest, I was quite happy about it because I couldn't find a pace previous races. I had to get used to the Kia a lot. So I'm actually quite happily surprised because I didn't really know I had it in me. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
Fantastic stuff. And Adam, Alex, have we got anything for the Northern Lights Racing boys?
No, it's just to really say congrats. First win, I believe, Ross. So yeah,
yep.
Always sweet to get that, and actually, a well-deserved one as well. It wasn't like it was gift wrapped. You had to fight hard for that. So yeah, congrats. And Martin, Adam's been waiting to for his little one-liner with you getting to the front for a long time. So you made his night tonight.
Yeah, I heard it on the stream.
Quickly got Craig McLeod-Evans as well in team principal of the team, and Craig, thanks for joining us.
It's alright, thanks for having me.
How are you doing? You must be really happy with that.
Yeah, the team performance has been fantastic tonight. Great first couple of races. Obviously, Nicola getting on the podium, Ross winning, Martin finishing his highest ever, so it's been good all round. I think myself and Colin were lacking with the luck tonight compared to these guys, but happy nonetheless, and be good to see the stats when they get updated.
Oh yeah, I mean, one very happy team principal, and yeah, you're looking forward to the rest of the season now. You guys have had a really great start to your career, really, as a team, and surely the best is yet to come for the team.
Well, definitely. When I set the team up, I took Ross and Nicola in. They had done a set of course, and they're mega quick on that. So I wanted to see kind of how they transfer into iRacing, and I couldn't have asked for much more pace from them. And Martin as well. He's does a set of course quite a bit, and mainly GT3. So to see him pick up the Kia quite quickly and get a performance right tonight, it's just excellent. So hopefully we'll push forward for next season, and got a few plans in place. Nothing revealed yet, but we're hoping to get a pro team and challenge the big boys next season.
Brilliant. Well, I'll be honest with you. I don't think you guys have got any danger of not being a pro team next in 2018. But yeah, fantastic performance. And Craig, do you want to do the honours and thank the sponsors, the team, and anybody else you'd like to?
I guess I'll have to. It's been a while, hasn't it? But well, first of all, thanks obviously to the guys in the team. They've performed excellent tonight. Admins and you guys for the streams as always. For the sponsors, got to thank ProRace UK, Dapper and Co, and well, I'm going to say Alabase, but that's my own thing anyway, so we'll gloss over that one. But yeah, thanks to those guys for supporting us as well, and hopefully we'll get a few more on board for the end of the season.
All right, awesome. Thank you very much, boys.
Cheers, thanks.
Thanks, see you.
Northern Lights Racing boys there, and Adam, absolute breath of fresh air in the series, those guys.
Yeah, brilliant, isn't it? A new team for this year, Northern Lights Racing. They've got some of the experienced hands in there, like Craig and Colin Cunniff as well, who I just saw as sitting in the interview room there as well. And plus they've got the new guys, which have really caught us unawares, and probably because we hadn't heard much about them, the likes of Nico Foggy, and today with Ross McFarlane. McFarlane's always been good in the qualifying, especially the last few weeks, and in the race too, the reverse grid race, he was able to show what he could do and get that first win. And I wonder if we could see a few more in the final few races that we've got over the next few weeks, because of course we are only, if we include week 13, about 3 or 4 weeks away from the beginning of the show now.
All right, and well, I think that's pretty much all we've got time for tonight. Alex, mate, that was good. If we can have the rest of the season like that, I reckon it'll be fantastic.
Yep, yes please, I agree with that one. Let's do it. Same again please next week. Thank you. Monza. Should be.
All right. Thank you everybody for watching tonight. And I see we've had quite a lot of viewers tonight, so keep it up, share it with people if you get your friends interested, like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. And we will be back, in fact, as soon as Sunday evening with the Club 73 Touring Car Championship. So that'll continue with the mixed class madness. And well, we'll be back then on Apex Racing TV. But for now, it's goodbye from Spa. Enjoy your Belgian Grand Prix weekend.